am Katie Bornicki, and this week we are assigned to make a lesson plan for a kindergartner or a preschool child, and we are supposed to base our story comprehension, vocabulary, print awareness, and phonics off of this book. We Are in a Book by Wilhelm. I think that's how you say it. And in this book, it is about a pig and an elephant who are in this book, and they know that a reader is reading them, and they're super excited about it. And then they realize that the book is going to end, and they're trying to figure out a way to make the reader keep reading them over and over again. So at the end of the book, they say, read us again. And throughout the book, there's little bubbles under who is talking. And then in the recording from the link that we were sent, it had a lot of ad-lib and a lot of different prosody and intonations throughout the book. And I think depending on the child you are working with, if they can read, I think this would be a perfect book for them to read. It's simple sight words and simple phonics that they should know. And if they can't read, have yourself read it to the child and give it that little bit of extra spunk to keep them engaged so that they may get more out of the story. And also, I think if the child does read the story, have you read it to them again, adding that prosody and intonations. For the first task, under print awareness, I think having the child circle every word, the first word on every page for the child can be pretty arbitrary depending on what level the child is at. But I think keeping the task simple and easy and fun, like this, just circling the words so that they know, oh, that's a word, I should circle that, and knowing that it's the first one that a person would read. And I think it would also be kind of a fun task because the bubbles are all over the page, and for them to go find that word might be kind of fun for a child. And like I said, depending on where the child's at their reading level or print awareness level, it can be pretty arbitrary. Under the next task of vocabulary, I thought that when I was listening to this story, there were a lot of nouns that came up, such as pig and elephant and banana, reader, book. And to me, for a kindergartner or a preschool child, they should know what these nouns are. And if they do not, I think that is a really big issue to address on expanding their vocabulary to these simple words. And the thing with vocabulary is that it's never ending. You continue learning new words throughout your life. And I chose pig, elephant, banana, reader, and book just because they're simple words. And I could also have the child think of words that stuck out to them and then ask them what they thought that those words meant. And from my words, I could have them explain to me, what is a pig? What does a pig look like? What does a pig do? Or for elephant, have them compare and contrast to what a real life elephant does to what the elephant in the story did. Because that way it can bring out more vocabulary and new adjectives and new nouns and verbs and all other things just besides semantics that can address other things. For the next task of story comprehension, I thought for the child to name the problem and the solution will be the easiest thing, or not the easiest thing, but a thing that can be done at any stage of a 4 and 5-year-old, depending on where they're at. And I have this worksheet that it's not directly correlated with this story, but it has 2 different sections. And if the child can write words, then they could write words down on what they thought the problem was and what they thought the solution was. And if they don't, they could draw pictures. There's a lot of room on here for them. They could draw what the problem was and what the solution was. And, or maybe if they're not that kind of thinker or comprehending person, they could just tell me what the story was about and what the problem and the solution were. For the last task, I chose phonics, just because by the time a child is 4 or 5, they should know a majority of sounds and they should have them pretty secure. And I chose the phoneme B, just because it's a very common one and it's not super hard to produce. And if a child is really struggling, it's not going to be super, super hard. And if a child is above and beyond what they should be, then I have this worksheet, which doesn't directly go with this story, but instead of a C, you could put a B there and have a picture of a boy. And then you could have a picture of a book or a boat and have them write down the letter or just tell you, oh, that has the B sound. Or if there's a picture of the dog, they could say, that's a dog that starts with the D sound, so that they can distinguish between sounds. And this book presents a lot of different sounds because it's kind of all over the place. It's not like a rhyming book or one that has the onset of the same sound throughout the book. It's kind of all over the place. I think overall, it all depends on who your client is and who you are working with, because like I mentioned several times, you could have a kindergartner who has, say, an MLU of 8.5 and is excelling in every aspect of what they're doing, or you could have a child who's really, really falling behind and needs to catch up. So I tried to keep these activities short, simple, to the point, and could be a challenge for some children.